Hello and welcome to your favorite Things to Do channel, where we'll be talking about things to do in Greece today. Before I start, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date. Let's get started. Greece is full of stories from the past, and if you like archaeology, history, art, and philosophy, you should definitely go there. Greece is made up of a bunch of beautiful islands with blue waters and tiny white buildings. There are also crumbling ruins, interesting museums, and cute coastal villages. Greece is a patchwork of different experiences and landscapes. It's also one of the best open-air museums in the world, with cities like Athens and small villages by the sea that have a slower pace of life. The top 10 things to do in Greece are as follows. Number 10. Elephanti Tour. Elephanti is a small island off the coast of Crete in the southwest part of the island. It's part of the Chania regional unit, which is in charge of managing the whole island. If the weather's right, you can wade through the water that is only a few inches deep to get to the island. The island has been set aside as a natural park for the area around it. It's known for its beaches with pink sand, which is caused by colored microorganisms that live with natural seaweed and are left behind by the tides and waves. These creatures get along well with the seaweed where they live. Number 9. Stop by the Panasonic Stadium. The Panasonic Stadium in Athens, Greece, can be used for a number of different things. It's the only stadium in the world made completely of marble, and it's one of Athens' most important historical sites. Number 8. Go to the National Museum of Archaeology. The National Archaeological Museum in Athens has some of the most important artifacts found in prehistoric and late ancient Greek sites. It is known as one of the best museums in the world, and it has the largest collection of Greek artifacts in the world. It's in the Exarchia neighborhood in the center of Athens between Epirus Street, Bouboulina Street, and Tostitsa Street. The entrance is on Patission Street, right next to the old building of the Athens Polytechnic University. Number 7. Go to Delos. The mythological, historical, and archaeological site of Delos in Mykonos, near the center of the Cyclades archipelago, is one of Greece's most important sites. The island has some of the most extensive archaeological digs in the Mediterranean. The Ephemerati of Antiquities of Cyclades is in charge of the work, and many of the artifacts found are on display at the Archaeological Museum of Delos and the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. Number 6. Go to the Odeon of Hadrian Atticus. The Odeon of Hadrian Atticus, also called the Herodion or Herodion, is a Roman theater made of stone. It is on the southwest slope of the Acropolis in Athens. The building was finished in the year 161 and was rebuilt in the year 1950. Hadrian Atticus built it in 161 AD to remember his Roman wife, Aspasia Annia Regilla. It used to be a steeply sloping theater with a stone front wall that went up 3 stories and a roof made of expensive Lebanon cedar wood. It was used for music concerts and could hold up to 5,000 people. It stayed together until AD 267 when Heracles tore it down and left it in ruins. Number 5. Visit Mycenae. In the 2nd millennium BC, Mycenae was a major center of Greek culture. It was also a military stronghold that controlled most of southern Greece, Crete, the Cyclades, and parts of southwest Anatolia. In honor of Mycenae, the time period from about 1600 BC to about 1100 BC in Greek history is called the Mycenaean. At their peak in 1350 BC, the fortress and lower town were home to 30,000 people and covered 32 hectares. The first time Mycenae was correctly named in modern writing was in 1700 when the Proveditore General of the Kingdom of Morea ordered a study. The Provincial General used Pausanias' description of the Lion Gate to find the ruins of Mycenae. Number 4. Go to the Agora in Athens. The Old Agora of Athens, also called the Classical Agora, is the best known example of an ancient Greek agora. It is northwest of the Acropolis and is bounded on the south by the Areopagus Hill and on the west by the Agoraios Kolonos, also called Market Hill. The Agora was meant to be a place for business, meetings, or gatherings of people who lived nearby. Number 3. Visit Zeus Temple. The Temple of Olympian Zeus, also called the Olympian or the Columns of Olympian Zeus, is a huge old temple in the center of Athens, Greece. It is also known as the Columns of Olympian Zeus. It was dedicated to Zeus, who was called the Olympian because he was the leader of the Olympian gods. Construction began in the 6th century BC when the Athenian tyrants were in charge. The goal was to build the grandest temple in the ancient world, but it wasn't finished until the 2nd century AD, when Roman Emperor Hadrian was in charge. During the time of the Romans, the temple was known as the biggest one in Greece. It had 104 huge columns and one of the biggest cult sculptures ever made. The temple was beautiful for a short time, but it was destroyed by the barbarians in 267 AD, only about 100 years after it was finished. It was most likely never repaired and was eventually demolished. In the years after the Roman Empire fell, it was heavily mined for building materials to be used in other parts of the city. Even so, a big part of the temple still stands today. Number 2. Check out the Parthenon. The Parthenon was built around 500 BC as a temple to the goddess Athena on the Athenian Acropolis in Greece. Its sculptures are some of the most beautiful pieces of Greek art, and they are seen as symbols of ancient Greece, democracy, and Western culture. During the Greco-Persian Wars, the Parthenon was built to remember how the Greeks beat the Persian invaders. Like most Greek temples, the Parthenon also served as the city's bank. In 447 BC, when the Delian League was at its most powerful, building began. It was finished in 438, but it wasn't fully decorated until 432. For a while, it was the treasury of the Delian League, which later turned into the Athenian Empire. In the last 10 years of the 6th century AD, the Parthenon was turned into a church for Christians. It was dedicated to the Virgin Mary. During the Ottoman invasion in the middle of the 15th century, it was turned into a mosque. The pre-Parthenon, or Older Parthenon, which was an older temple to Athena, was destroyed by the Persians in 480 BC. The Parthenon was built to replace it. Number 1. Visit the Acropolis. The Acropolis of Athens is a rocky hill that rises above the city of Athens. It's home to the remains of a number of ancient buildings, the most famous of which is the Parthenon, which has architectural and historical value. The word Acropolis comes from the Greek words akron, which means highest point, and polis, which means city. The word Acropolis is a general one, and there are many of them all over Greece. In the past, the Acropolis of Athens is also called Cecropia, after the mythical serpent man Cecrops, who is said to have been the first ruler of Athens. There is evidence that people lived on the hill as early as the 4th millennium BC. However, the most important buildings on the site, such as the Parthenon, Propylaea, Erechtheion, and Temple of Athena Nike, were built during the 5th century BC under the direction of Pericles. That's all for today, guys, and don't forget to mention your comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.